Hello guys, this is Stormy Gaming with another rant. So this is basically an impromptu one. I wasn't planning on doing one, but you know, things change the world and some stuff I need to have to get my thoughts out. So you see the title, and I know there are gonna be some Republicans are gonna be angry at me, call me a leftist shell, that I'm leftist, that I hate that I'm a globalist, whatever. Let me make one thing clear. I'm not a leftist. I don't agree with a lot of stuff the leftists do. But there is one thing me and the leftists could agree on: geopolitics. The reason why put the title geopolitics in my video is because it's very apparent from just these 3 months of the Trump presidency and from the reactions of the MAGA movement and many Republican YouTubers and commentators, they don't understand a single thing about geopolitics. No, it's not even to say that. They don't know anything about geopolitics. Like, legit. And it became noticeable when. Because it's one thing to. Because the thing is, I'm noticing with much of it is recently is that, especially when Trump was bashing on Ukraine for no good reason, they in turn did that because of it. There was some who did it for longer, like Corwin, but they only did that because Trump told them to. Man, I haven't even heard of it. And many of them said a lot of horrific things that they were that there's a reason none of them ever met a Ukrainian, and then they Ukrainian. Like Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder literally said in one of his streams that Ukraine should also just die because that what Russia wants. It was kind of in that category because he said, "Oh, Ukraine is bad for some reason, for some things." And then he tried and then he did the whole propaganda, Russian propaganda thing of, "Oh, look, they take people off the streets and send them to the army." First off, they don't. They're arrested, but they're not sent to the army. Two, that those are draft dodgers, and you had draft dodgers during the Vietnam War and in World War II, so don't act like that this is a special case. And three, they're in a state of war, and they are under martial law. They're not in a peaceful time, you moron. But I find it interesting that the very instant to try to bash on Ukraine, he instantly uses a Russian talking point. And then when he talked about it, he got every fact wrong. And recently, I've been looking at Willie Ohm recently. Luckily, not I mean on an incognito because I don't want his filthy videos on my actual YouTube. But I realized he is delusional. Like, you know my history legends. I hate that guy. I hate what he stands for. That he's an actual Vatnik, even though he tried to portray himself as one. How he tries to act like every centimeter Russia takes after losing 100 men is somehow the greatest victory. When in truth they barely gained only a Luxembourg-like territory, and they basically gained nothing in 2024 and whatever. But really, is way more delusional, because at least history lesson is honest with what Russia wants at the most part. He made a stupid argument suggesting that Russia doesn't want to control Ukraine. It wants to take away the men potential of it, apparently. Like, he wants to just completely weaken Ukraine. Which is very backwards considering that Russia has been attacking 24/7 all the time, which would be the complete opposite of such a tactic, and not really well since they lose more men in these assaults than the Ukrainians do because Ukrainians have less men holding the trench than a Russian would trying to take it. But okay, enough about that. But what many of the mangas I've been seeing at Romanian TV, because recently Marie Le Pen was, because of a scandal, is not allowed to be voted into office. And this happened before, like every Republican, like Romanian TV are like, "Oh, democracy is dead, all Europeans are evil." And you know what? In normal circumstances, I could agree with you. There is something wrong with that. That does seem pretty bad. But then you see that Le Pen is actually bought in by the Russians. And then I remember what happened to Hungary or Slovakia or Belarus. Countries that were bought in by the Russians, countries that put their puppets there, have ruined their countries, have devolved into dictatorships, have taken a lot from their people and basically turned them into Russian vassal states. And then you remember in Germany, they suffered a similar fate with appeasement Merkel, who was, thanks to her, made Germany weaker, having to rely on Russian gas until it was too late. Because again, under norm, and this is the same thing with the Romanian one, because the Romanian election was stopped because the person who was being voted in was found out to be a Russian agent. Now, again, under normal circumstances, these would be controversial stuff. But we're not under normal circumstances. Russia is actively in a political war against Europeans. They are trying to buy in a lot of the right leading people who don't have no guts, who don't believe in the constitutions of their countries, to weaken NATO, to weaken the EU, so that if he ever invades them or plans on using them to screw over the NATO and EU decision making, he could do that. Oh. Because the issue is the fact that democracy is under attack by subversive forces in Europe. Because again, as I say again, under normal circumstances, you guys would be right, but the issue is that you all ignore the geopolitics. And this is what I'm talking about. The reason why I'm saying it is because it seems like MAGA does not understand why what Trump is doing with geopolitics is terrible. And most of you guys have never heard of soft power. You see, you're all under a huge misinterpretation of what is happening in the world. And heck, some of you don't even understand how America came even that strong to begin with. But let's take about our history lesson. After World War II, almost every country except America and the Soviet Union were crushed. The British and French empires were crushed. They would lose their empires soon after the World War II. Many other countries got devastated due to the fighting. So the only two countries left were the US and the Soviet Union that could do it, aka the Cold War. And so, and America realized this, how many of those countries in Europe were devastated by World War II. So they had a plan called the Marshall Plan. They recognized that if they help rebuild those nations free of cost, to give them aid and to help them with their militaries to build them back up, they would be indebted to America and give them trade deals that they would never have gotten before World War II. And look what happened. Europe became rich and greater than it was than after World War II. And all of its countries had great relations with the U.S. throughout the Cold War, and war, and America became stronger because of it. Its boom was because of its support and all of its trade. America did not because here's the thing: you guys are like, oh, if we isolate ourselves, if focus on ourselves, we'll become a great nation again. No, you did not give it. You would not become that. You guys tried that in the 1930s, and that was the Great Depression. You guys got out of the Great Depression because of war, because of you having to support everyone. What? Ironically, it was because of the military-industrial complex that you became a great nation in the first place. Place place. What Trump is doing now is destroying those ties, destroying our trust. Was because the thing is, the first term he had, he was held back by competent people, because he was doing stupid stuff then, but it was less than here now. What's happening now is that he has all he has are yes men and sycophants. So there's no one to tell him no, no one to tell him not to do this or to prevent him from doing things. He just does it because he has yes people there, not actual politicians and so on. So now he's talking about invading this place, invading that place, and recently Vance made a whole thing about, oh, we need Greenland for security. For who? China is too busy with Taiwan, and Russia is too busy dying in Ukraine. There is no, you are, this is just imperialism, straight up. Why do you need Greenland? You could ask for more bases. Nobody would have complained. Greenland and Denmark would be more than happy to give you more bases. No one was complaining about that. It's just straight up imperialism straight up. And then you hear Fox News saying, "Oh, but it's so great," even though no Greenlanders said they want that. And also, if you do this, you're basically be destroying NATO EU. And apparently, there was an article recently saying that America won't help NATO if Russia attacks now in a leaked document. So, and this goes back to really old because really old was said in a recent video that, oh, the Baltics and Europe is so evil for making Ukraine continue fight. No, they're not making Ukraine fight. Ukraine wants to fight on its own to survive. And two, they know they and seeing how America is now not unreliable now, they know that the moment Russia get what it wants, is going to attack the Baltics. The Putin's whole thing is that he wants back the Russian Empire, not so in the Russian Empire. You know how far the Russian Empire was? All the way to the borders of Germany. So for them to do that, they would need to invade and control all those countries beyond Germany. Beyond Germany. So the ways they're doing that is either by military conquest, like in Ukraine, or through political compromise, like in Hungary and Slovakia. So because that's what they've been doing. They did in Georgia, Chechnya, Ukraine, and they were able to compromise Slovakia and Hungary by putting their puppets there. Heck, they put a puppet in Ukraine until the Ukrainian people got rid of him. But again, if you ask a MAGA person this, they would not know any of this or say I'm a liar because God forbid, Trump is wrong about anything. But the thing is, Trump is a moron. And you don't have, and there's no Trump doing anything for me. He's just a moron. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff he's not doing good, but we're not going to talk about that with all the tariffs that are practically useless. And he's just making America look bad. And it's funny because Romanian TV trying to say that, oh, the world was so evil towards America, so America towards evil. When? What did they did that to be like this? America's going to lose way more than it would gain. Again, a country, because there's a line I heard once: respect is earned, not gained. You can't demand respect from countries when you say you want to invade them and annex their territories. That's what Russia does all the time. What, I'm supposed to respect Russia because that's what they do? They demand respect. They demand you under their heel. I I need to say all this because actually there was a great video from Scruffy Tails who really shows how pathetic the Russian military is. The Russian military is so terrible that over the year in 2024, the amount of territory they took was the equivalent of Luxembourg. Practically nothing. Despite of what guys like history legends, Willie Ullman, all those sycophants of Vatican's trying to say, 2024 was actually a failure of a year. They didn't took that much, and I've noticed that, they keep saying that, and then it's like, where? And then you see like a pinch here, and it's like, they lost how much tanks and army? They're so the Russians have lost so much manpower and tanks and everything. They have to attack on Ladas, on Buhankas, Scooby-Doo vans. They're now having to use horses and donkeys because they lost so many vehicles. They literally are losing the battle per cross and risk of being surrounded in certain places. They've been pushed back into Torres. They've been pushed back into Chasiv. They're now dealing with a whole Ukrainian corps against them in Kupiansk that have lost territory there. They have not done anything in the Kharkiv area. They have not done anything in Volchansk. Even with the Kharkiv one, the Kursk one, there's still 5 little territories there, and Ukraine have just taken some territory in Belgorod. The Russian military is a failure. The Russians' only hope is that Trump could give them what they want, even though that's not going to happen because Ukraine is a sovereign state, and Ukraine is just dragging it out until they got all the supplies from the previous administration, and then they're going to just go on their own without listening to America, because it's clear that America is compromised. But as I said in my title, the MAGA don't understand geopolitics. They just believe that if Trump says he's going to create peace, he's going to create peace, no matter how bad it is. But he's never going to. And you know, there's a certain hypocrisy in all this. Even though I don't hate Israel, I just find it ironic how Israel was able to get billions of dollars in military weaponry easily from the Trump administration without Congress approval, but Ukraine couldn't even get that. Oh, but you gave us 500 billion. No, you did. You only gave 120 billion. Way less than Europe. Alright, see you guys on the next video. I see you.